Welcome to another edition of The Walking Dead.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of EPL on
Class is in session, hitting the books on Pub Sports.
This is another exciting edition of the main event on Talking Ants.
Welcome to another edition of The Good, the Bad, and the Money. I'm your host, Sharpie's Bets, and this show is sponsored by Prize Picks. So if you haven't already, do us a favor and go on over to Prize Picks. Use promo code PUBSPORTS. Your first deposit up to $100, minimum of $25. They got you by simply using that wonderful, wonderful promo code PUBSPORTS. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Twitter world. Everybody out there, go on over to my page if you haven't. Hit that share, hit that retweet, and let's get the people, the good people, some NFL props, some Prize Picks that are gonna cash. And if this is your first time watching this show, you're like, man, I don't have Prize Picks. I don't bet Prize Picks. Well, at the end of the day, Prize Picks is NFL props. It's just a different way of betting it for those that aren't allowed to. Prize Picks has a way where you can parlay NFL or any props. This is an NFL show. And they give you no juice parlays, anywhere from 2 to 5, and you pick whether you want to be a flex or a power play, and they tell you the amount of the that they pay you per parlay. So I like to do flexes myself, save myself a little ass, but then every once in a while you got to give them the old power play, the old 2-punch, and get yourself 3 times the money. And that's what we do on this show at the end of the day. So shout out to you all, and yeah. Let's get to the motherfucking money. Today, we're going to talk about 3 different types of spots. We're going to talk about get-right spots. Then we're going to get into good spots. And then we're going to get into the game of the day. Everyone's going to want to talk about the Chiefs and Bills. And so we shall do that too on this show. And then we will get into the guest portion of this show where we will bring in Billy Briz and get his looks on Prize Picks. And then we will end the show with a ladder play like normal and a 2-pick power play. So enough about me, and let's talk NFL props after I shout out the few in the chat, my guys who are always motherfucking here. I see you too. Go hit the share, guys. We need more people knowing about the money that be flowing on this show. Speaking of shows, we got a new show with Sharpie's Bets coming Sunday morning, The Pub Zone, on Pub Sports Radio. It'll come on 10 minutes before game time in the morning games, and it'll be Pub Sports Radio's version of NFL Red Zone. Who wants to hear that lame dude on the NFL Network when you can hear Sharpie's Bets? Sharpie's Bets getting angry at bets he's losing or fantasy leagues he's now winning. Either which or, come join the fucking fun. Turn your favorite NFL game on and put YouTube on in the background and let me call out NFL Red Zone for you in the morning games. We'll keep it packed. We'll keep it constant. And you know I'm going to come up with some Prize Picks and some props in the middle of them halftimes because that's where I've been money at. Really, really, really money at. So, yeah, let's talk about the get-right spots first. And these are teams that are in situations to me that should just go out there and dominate. Kind of like last week when I talked about the Bucks grouping. I've got 2 different spots here that I want to talk about, and let's talk about it. These 49ers at the Falcons. Woo, boy. You ready for this? Falcons defense, 29th versus the pass, 16th versus the rush, 21st in points allowed, and 28th on third down percentage. First spot I'm going to look at, guys, is Jimmy G's fantasy points over. Yes, it's small, it's 15, and I like it. The 49ers have faced 2 bottom 10 Ds this year. The first game where Garoppolo came in without Kittle, and then last week with a full team. He had 20 fantasy points last week, and I see another fruitful week for this versus this weak-ass D. And I'm a 2-pick it with this 49ers D fantasy points over. One thing I know about these 49ers, and I'm a West Coast guy, I live on the West Coast and I watch a lot of West Coast football, is they are very good versus running quarterbacks. Well, if you take out Mariota's wheels, he is going to be in for a long, long day, and that's the day I see him getting into this weekend. Yes, I know the 49ers are missing some pieces on D, but so is the Falcons missing some key pieces on their O. Pitts should be back, and yet there still is no Patterson. Shout out to the chat. We're starting to come up in here. So, yeah, let's get to the next part. Let's talk the other get-right spot, and that's Rams versus Panthers. should be a fucking another fruitful spot in this situation. So, oh no, I just got Akers is out. Well, he wasn't out, so we're gonna talk about Henderson then, and I'm gonna have to just pull up the Henderson spot when I talk about Akers. So, damn, this was gonna be a spot there. I was gonna look to run me some Akers, but it's Henderson all fucking day. Shout out to my guy Billy in the chat letting me know before I hung myself because he seen that I was gonna talk about some Akers. So, good looking out to my guy. We all know the Panthers just fired their coach, and P.J. Walker is starting this game because Mayfield got hurt last week. Well, this ain't the Phillies in MLB. Firing your coach mid-year doesn't just fucking spark your team and flip the switch. There's trade talks going on, and there's too much background noise going on in this organization. Couple that with the Rams. Oh, they've been struggling. Well, they shouldn't struggle this Sunday, and what I mean by that is they haven't been running the ball. The running the ball has been the key issue. That's the offensive line woes. And then that leads to Matt Stafford having no fucking time. Well, I think they're going to be able to run the ball quite easily. And the fact is Cam Akers is now out. Well, then guess what? Darrell Henderson will be the play in this spot, and I still won't back down from it. And the fact is this team right here has faced 3 top 10 Ds in the running backs according to Yahoo Fantasy Rankings. Well, now they get a bottom 10 in the 20 and the 27th in the NFL in rush yards allowed with 138 yards a game. Now they're getting a defense that is weak versus the rush. That is going to open up everything else in their offense, and everyone's going to be like, "Oh, the Rams are fixed. The Rams are fixed." Nah, this is a get-right spot. This is a spot where it just lines up to where they're finally going to be able to do some stuff on offense that they haven't been able to do all year. And they're going to be able to pound the rock this week. And I expect a heavy dose of rushing, which will then open up every which way. And I expect a fucking rout. So Cam Akers is out. So what? Now we got to go to Darrell Henderson then. Then that just leads me to backing them straight up with the Rams D fantasy points over 8. I just talked to you guys, especially how I seen the game going and how I expect these Rams to get right on offense. Well, let's talk about this team's offense theirself. And we're talking about they just lost Baker Mayfield. Not saying Baker Mayfield's good, but P.J. Walker's now in. And don't tell me P.J. Walker's better, or else guess what? The coaches would have had P.J. Walker starting. So P.J. Walker is not better than Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield is ass. Yes, I get it. That's fine. That's not the problem here, guys. We've got a backup quarterback on a trash offense. They are 32nd in total yards, 28th versus the rush and pass, 24th in points allowed, 32nd on third down, and they're supposed to get better with a backup? No. This is just a get-right spot each way for my guys. Every which way on the Rams, guys. They're a 10-point favorite for a reason, and I expect them to rule. Now let's get into the part of the thing where we're going to talk great spots. All 4 of these guys are going to see my money on props and teamed up in a little prize picks because these are what I figured was the best spots on the board. And Raheem Mostert's rush receiving over 73.5. He needed a few extra weeks to get to know the playbook and has such taken over the lead as the running back in the Miami offense by rushing 15-plus times the last 2 weeks while seeing 3 targets a game, over 80% of the running back share. This man is a fucking beast, and he can hit it either which way, so sign me up for some Mostert. Please and motherfucking thank you. Now, I just lost my freaking read-up script on what I was going to do, and that freaking blows. I thought I was being super cool, and I had Word and all this. I'm like, oh, yeah, Sharpie's got Word now, and he's going to fucking do the shit right. Well, Sharpie's not the smartest motherfucker in the world, and, yeah, that's fine, though. Life's a bitch and you marry one, and he gets it going again because he's not that dumb. But, yeah, let's talk the second spot, guys. Mostert, guys, until they bump him up another 10, 15 yards, I'd be looking at playing his rush receiving either which way. This was a guy who is one of the most explosive guys on that Niners offense when he was in it. He is healthy, and we will ride him when he's healthy. Edmund is the clear number 2 back, the clear change of pace. We expect a heavy dosage of Mostert, and we got that dude Skyler making another start, a third-string quarterback, guys. This guy threw it to him 3 times last week. I expect at least 3 more looks. And 15-plus rushes no matter what. They lost the game heavily by a lot of points, and they were still handing the ball off to Mostert. They're going to have to help that backup quarterback. Next spot on the board, guys, is J.K. Dobbins. Rush yards over 43.5. The Ravens have been easing in Dobbins and has played the last 3 weeks. And man, oh man, is that dude running with some juice. It's not just the fact that he's been dominating the carries. He's had 13 and 8 carries over the last 2 weeks with over 41 yards in those teams. And now he gets a fucking smash spot versus the Giants. They're 25th versus the rush. Yeah, that right there is probably my favorite spot of the week. Then we're going to get into just picking on the fucking Seahawks. We picked on them all damn year, and we're going to keep picking on them. Kyler Murray's fantasy points over 20. This is the last week, guys, before I expect Kyler's fantasy points to start going up to the 22 to 24 range. What do you mean by that? Why are they just going to jump it? Because Kyler Murray, when he has Hopkins, who comes back next week, is a fucking monster. This dude, when he has a legit dude he can just chuck it up to, who he knows he will go and get it, that dude has a belief with him and plays at a different level when Hopkins is on that team. Man, Hollywood Brown is then going to be opened up to a different level, and so is that Dortch kid they've been using. So this offense is just going to get better next week, and all their points are going to get fluctuated because of Hopkins being there. So, yeah, sign me up for some Kyler Murray over 20 fantasy points, guys. He gets the Seahawks D, and man, are they fucking bad. 32nd in total yards, 31st in points allowed, and 30th on third down percentage. This all leads up to the Cards doing what they want when they want. 300 yards, 2 to 3 touchdowns. That's really in the picture right now for our man Kyler Murray. So once again, get on this train before Hopkins comes back, because everything should go way up when that man joins this offense. Then we got to talk about the one spot where we've been running, and we got it last week and we cashed it last week and we talked about it. And yeah, you want to keep putting this guy's number below what he averages in his career, but yet he's averaging 3 more carries this year more than he has rushed previously last year. Yeah, I don't get it. So sign me the fuck up for Jalen Hurts rush yards over 48.5, please and thank you. Now, this is going to be a first-place game for the NFC East. Now, the Cowboys have played 5 games. 3 of them were versus QBs that don't run. The other 2, Daniel Jones had 79 yards on 9 carries, where Joe Burrow had 26 yards on 4 carries. Hurts is averaging 12 carries a game right now. Sign me up for some late-night easy fucking money, guys. Let's cash that shit before halftime. So give me Jalen Hurts rush yards, please and thank you. Now let's talk the game of the day before I bring on my motherfucking dude, Billy Briz. Shout out to the chat. If you haven't already, smash the fucking like, hit the share, and hit the retweet. Nasty Nate, I see you. Rocco Rogers, AOD. The crew is up in here. I see the ninja in the background. So let's talk football so we can get on to the money in the rest of our days. Let's talk Buffalo Bills at these Kansas City Chiefs. Josh Allen's pass and rush yards over 339.5 is the way I'm going to start this game off. Now, this is cashed 3 out of 5 times this year, and we all know the Bills have this game circled from last year's overtime loss to these Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. Well, the Chiefs are number 3 versus the rush and 24th versus the pass. Well, we all know the Bills run the ball to set up the pass, just because you can't drop back every time, guys. It would kill Josh Allen. So pretty much they don't run the ball to run the ball. They run the ball to set up what they want to do, and that is pass the ball. Josh Allen has been dealing this year, and he's ran for over 42 in 4 of his 5 games. I expect this guy to look for any which way to kill this team. Run, pass, whatever option. I've got to get in with it all on my guy, Josh fucking Allen. So, yeah, how are we going to back him? How about with the dude that he looks at the most? Stephon Diggs receiving yards over 85.5, and this almost made my favorite bet of the day. And, yeah, we just talked about the Chiefs being the 24th in the league versus the pass. Well, any top wide receiver this year with a quarterback versus these Chiefs have fucking 8. Mike Williams from the Chargers had 8 catches for 113 yards. Mike Evans from the Bucs had 8 catches for 103 yards. Davante Adams last week had 3 catches for $124. Yeah, like let's not fucking get cute. Let's not be dumb here, guys. This is gonna be a shootout, and the Chiefs are fucking susceptible versus the pass, and that's not where you want to be at with these guys. Now, sign me up for Diggs. He's hit this prop now 4 out of 5 times this year, and I don't expect anything else to change here. Stephon Diggs over and motherfucking out, please and thank you. Well, let's talk about the home team. And you know the first guy we got to talk about is the quarterback. Good old Patty fucking Magic. So, yeah, my cats want to fight while I bomb and talk football, so no big deal. Let's get to it. I'm going to look at his rush yards over 20.5. And I know this is a prop show, and I know we don't talk sides and totals often, but the Chiefs are dogs in this spot. Mahomes is undefeated ATS against the spread as a dog, and he's at home. Well, we know he will run as proof of the last 3 games where he's had 26 or more yards with 4 carries in each game. This game, we just talked about how the Bills had it circled. You don't fucking think the Chiefs have this circled right here? You don't think this shit is not circled with them as well? So this to me right here is home dogs circled as them too. Like, these are 2 of the top teams in the AFC. I don't get this one team wants it more than the other. So give me a guy who in the last 3 games has not shied away from running and is going to have to run to keep his team in this game. Patty fucking Magic, run, baby, fucking run. But let's be real, guys. I'm just joking. He's not going to run the whole time, and that's why we got to look at passing the ball. Let's look at Clyde Edwards-Helaire's receiving yards over 19.5. Bills have been stout versus the rush all year, and I don't expect much to change. Bills are number 2 in the league, allowing only 77 yards on the ground. Well, I don't expect the Chiefs to abandon the run, and I do expect the Chiefs to call more screens to keep the defense on it. And that's where we're going to get in on Helaire. Yes, they do have 3 running backs, but Helaire does take the majority of the shout out for you, bro. I'll come right back to that. I appreciate the motherfucking dono. With that donation, I can get this BBW 5 Slim Jims. So, you're the man, bro. I appreciate everything, and yeah, you fucking rock. So let's just keep this fucking rolling and keep the money flowing. So Helaire is the majority starter here, guys. Yes, they do run 3 running backs, but he does at least see 60% of the work. And depending on game script, can see more or less. But game script here, I expect this guy seeing at least 60% of the work here. And when we get into his prop this year, he's had over 19.5 receiving yards in 4 out of 5 games with nothing less than 3 targets in those games. Whether they get down or whether they have the lead, he's going to be involved in this screen game. I expect more screens, more short passes than we normally have seen. And yeah, that's fine. That's what you've got to do to play against this type of defense. They want everything checked down. They want everything thrown underneath. So that's the way they're going to do it. And guess what? Patty ain't going to force it, in my opinion. So this is going to be a big-time game, big-time shit. So let's get to the big-time monies and bring on the first guest of the day, guys. So shout out to you all. You know this man. You know this man well. He shows up on all the shows and fucks props with his eyes open. Let's bring him in. My guy, your fucking guy, Billy fucking Briz. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Excited to get to the money this weekend. Another day at the grind.
Another day, another fucking dollar. Well, we've got a few things to talk about, and I know you guys don't want to talk about me. So let's talk about your first prize picks of the day.
Yeah, first prize picks of the day. I'm going to have to go on the opposite end here. Here's some background noise, but opposite end here for me, I'm going to go with Jeff Wilson. Since Eli Mitchell has been out, Wilson has been rolling, man. He gets another good spot here versus Atlanta, who ranks 25th in fantasy points allowed with at least 15 touches in 4 straight games. I think it's going to be another good yardage day for Jeff Wilson, and I think he goes over to 66.5 pretty easily. I think that should be around 73, 75. I think we see another 100-yard day for my guy, Jeff Wilson.
Man, I was actually looking at me some Wilson too, and then I noticed, guess who's back? And I think they're not offering him in this. Yes, in a revenge spot too, bro. And Shanahan loves him some fucking Coleman. He's not out on Prize Picks yet, guys. It's going to be low. It's sneaky. He's going to get his touches, bro. And I think Coleman is sneaky as fuck this week for like a vulture touchdown or something. You know Wilson's going to get the bulk, the 15 to 20. They're going to freaking run the clock out. They're going to have the lead. But Coleman's going to just vulture him for a touchdown, in my opinion. But that's not about my opinion here. Let's go on over to Pittsburgh, where we're going to talk about some Bucks. What's your next fucking prop on the board?
Yeah, we're looking at the rookie here, Rachaad White, man. He passed the eye test in the preseason, and now that's finally getting him involved into the regular season. Over the past 2 weeks, he's played 38% of the snaps in week 4 and 39% of the snaps in week 5. Basically, they're putting him in every 3 series here, and he gets another good matchup this week against the Pittsburgh Steelers, a spot that I think the Bucs are going to be able to control the game. So that kind of correlates with the next play. We're going with the Tom Brady under 20.5 fantasy points. The Bucs have been content when they have had leads this year. Brady has gone under 4 out of 5 weeks straight for 20 fantasy points this year on Prize Picks. So besides the one game where they had to absolutely completely air the ball out against the Kansas City Chiefs because they're down 14-0. Basically, Brady's gone under in every game so far this year. So I think we see another under Tom Brady game and then over on 10.5 receiving yards for my guy, Rachaad White.
Man, it's not just your guy. I drafted that guy in my big fantasy league. I've got so many running backs, but I still just won't even drop him because it's like, what if playoff Lenny gets hurt? This guy steps into a beast role. And it's like, nah, dude. You're going to sit right there right now. But the next guy we're going to talk about, I was actually going to play myself, but then Billy was on his shit this morning and had his stuff sent in before I already woke up. So I looked over and I was like, man, yeah, well, I can't hate him for it because he was on the Rashad Penny. But let's talk about your guys. Tell them about the man.
Yeah, we're going to go with Kenneth Walker over 11 fantasy points. Penny, like you said, sadly goes to the IR, but Walker should be able to be the lead back here with Dallas and Homer getting a couple touches behind him. But Seattle has had a good run-heavy scheme this year. They actually lead the league in yards per rushing attempt this year. And I think Kenneth Walker can catch a couple balls out the backfield. That's the reason why we hit the fantasy points, because you'll get a couple more extra points with a couple catches. If you can get 3 to 4 catches and get the yardage that I'm expecting him to see in a good spot here against the Arizona Cardinals, I think over 11 fantasy points is a little bit too shallow for my guy, Kenny Walker.
I think it's way too shallow because we've already seen the way they use him. They were using him as like the third down back, change of pace back. He's good enough to be the starting running back. That's where everybody projected him to be eventually. So they'll actually throw him the ball on first and second down and get you those points. They're going to fucking use this guy different than Penny, guys. I'm telling you, we all know Rashad Penny. It's sad. I mean, at the end of the day, I live in San Diego. This guy was fucking awesome for the Aztecs. He was great. But in the NFL, he is a fucking walking injury bug. And the best availability is availability. And
he's just the average guy.
Available. He's always hurt. He's always hurt. The guy can't play, so they're not going to use him in every which way because they know he can get hurt. This guy, he's shown he's a pass catching back. He can block out the backfield, and he can take some handoffs now. Oh, bro, this guy right here is a legit 3-down back, and all the reports out of camp fantasy-wise, if you grab this guy on your leagues or something this year, you should be very, very happy, especially that Penny is down because now it ain't no split. You're not splitting with Hosmer and Dallas. They might change a pace you, but those dudes have had their time to do anything, and they couldn't do nothing. So, yeah, they're not there to do nothing. Shout out to you for showing up. Hope you've been enjoying your time at the sports book, my guy. Any last words for these fellas? Where can they find you, and what shows you coming up on?
Yeah, we got the UFC tomorrow. We're back in the UFC Apex tomorrow. Don't be fooled by the chick main event because all the money is usually in those Apex cards, man. last time we shit on the Apex card, it did really, really good for betting purposes. So you can find me over on Twitter at Getting Bills and over on Instagram, Billy Bridge DFS. Back at the grind, man. It's a big week this week, man. We got MLB, NFL, UFC, NBA next week, man. It's the best time of year.
It's the best time of year. Actually, I wish baseball regular season was going because it's a lot easier to bet that. But yeah, it's not about that. It's about football here. So we're going to hit a quick commercial, and we're going to come back with the guy known for fucking ladders in the eye hole. So commercial time, guys. If you haven't already, guys, go on over to Manscaped. Use that promo code PUBSPORTS. Get yourself some free shipping on that Lawnmower 4.0. Don't hedge your balls, guys. I mean, go hedge your balls, not your bets. Whoa, almost said it backwards. But, yeah, if you're ever in fucking San Antonio, guys, you just seen some burgers that made my fucking stomach go roar. And it's not just because the way they looked. It's because I've actually ate them before. And I ate them again and again and again. And that's all I fucking had was the same meal because it was that fucking good the whole time I was out there. And, yeah, call me fucking crazy, but, yeah, that was me. So go to Southtown 101 if you are ever in the area. So my guy is here. Your guy is here. How has hunting been treating you, my guy? And how is life treating you?
The hunting's been kind of slow. It's been kind of windy and cold. Haven't really doing much, but excited for week 5, Sharpie.
Well, week 5 passed you last week, my guy. It's now week 6. So hopefully you're super excited for week 6.
Yes, we stoked, Sharpie. Super stoked.
Well, guys, I actually had this whole thing written up to tell you guys, like on Pub Sports Radio, we don't fucking give you freaking picks. We give you our bets. And like 3 hours ago, Big Show hits me up like, Sharpie, bro, like I don't want to just give out something I'm not gonna bet. I don't think I'm gonna have a ladder play. Well, I wrote this big bit saying like, you know what? We're not here to fucking sell you fucking quack and all this. Well, I show up to the 5 minutes before the show, and he's like, "You got my message, right, Sharpie?" And I'm like, "What message?" And he's like, "Oh, my ladder play." So, without further introduction, Big Show, the ladder play.
What's up, everybody? This is Big Show Picks coming in with another Big Show ladder play of the week for the good, the bad, the money. This week I'll be on Justin Jefferson, over 93 reception yards, plus 100. Second leg, over 98 reception yards, plus 110. Third leg, over 101 reception yards, plus 120. Couple facts from Justin Jefferson. He'll be going up against the 28th ranked defense, pass defense, in Miami. He's cleared this number 3 out of 5 times with numbers like 184 yards, 154 yards, 147 yards. And he's also averaging 8 receptions a game. I think we smashed this one again. Justin Jefferson cashes the Big Show ladder play of the week.
There you got it, guys. So we do have us a ladder play. So at the end, we've got us some money to be made, and I actually think the Vikings roll. This is a team right now that's been struggling against the pass, and I really think the Vikings eat right here. So sign me up for some of that ladder play myself. And then this is the part of the show, guys, where we give you the 2-pick power play. We're going to give you our 2 best bets, and it's not just our best bets. I'm going to go put a little McDonald's dinner to make a steak dinner, 25 to win 75 on a 2-pick power play. My guy, what is your pick of the day?
Yeah, so since Billy already capped the rushing side of it, I'm gonna hop over here onto the receiving side of it and take the over 7.5 receiving yards for Jeffrey Wilson, or Jeff Wilson Jr., however you guys want to call him. But last game he caught one out of the 2 targets for 12 yards. Atlanta's defense is ranked 29th against passing offense. If he catches a pass, I'm pretty sure he hits us. He's already hit it 4 out of 5 times this year. He's averaging 7.16 yards per game receiving. San Francisco is the number 1 in pass completion yards at 12.5 yards per completion. So I think Jeff Wilson gets it done on the rushing side, like Billy said, and on the receiving side at over 7.5.
That actually correlates with me saying, like, I think they just roll here, dude. The Niners do whatever they fucking want in this spot. And Jeff Wilson is a great spot. But I'm going to go back to what I talked to. I'm just going to elaborate on it a little bit more. J.K. Dobbins rush yards over 43.5. Now, this is the 4th week back. And I expect this man to keep taking the bulk of the rushes and getting to the 75% share of the work. I don't expect him to ever go past 75%. That's just not the way Harbaugh runs his running backs. He's always going to rotate 1 or 2 in, and especially if one is struggling, that's why he wants to have one. Any running back should be able to go with Lamar. When Dobbins is in, it's just they just are that much better, guys. J.K. Dobbins is the fucking truth. So, yeah, he's had back-to-back 40-yard performances, and now he gets a Giants team that has been getting gashed on the ground to a tune of 132 yards a game. And now the linebackers are going to be frozen while trying to spy on Lamar, and that's going to leave lanes like this ginormous for Dobbins to burn through, guys. Like, when you've got a quarterback like Lamar, they are fucking worried about Lamar. That means, no, you should be worried about a guy like J.K. Dobbins, a guy who's coming down with a full head of steam. And last week, the Packers, guys, they had the lead. They were running it well. They were running it for an average of 4.7 yards a tick versus this sorry-ass team. And they decided to abandon the fucking run, and they lost the game. Well, Jim Harbaugh will not abandon the run. I guarantee you fucking that, guys. And this team is trash versus the run. So let's jump on some Harbaugh. Let's jump on some Dobbins. I expect 10-plus carries, and he should easily smash this prop for us. He's going to break a 40-yarder in this game. So those are our 2 picks. So shout out to the chat. Hopefully we are going to make you some money this week because there's been some great information on this show. Go hit the share, hit the retweet, and if you don't know, you should know this show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Go use that promo code PUBSPORTS. Your first deposit up to $100, minimum of $25. They will match deposit it. So do us a favor, do you a favor, and go use that promo code. And once again, guys, we've got the world premiere on Sunday, Pub Zone. That is our version of the Red Zone on Pub Sports Radio. I am going to go play-by-play through the Red Zone, and you get to hear it from a guy who really cares what's happening and has money on what's happening. I don't just bet sides and totals. I'm a player prop type of guy, and when I get to sit into a Red Zone with my ADHD having ass and get to scream and yell because it constantly changes on me, it's like the best type of day in my life. So can't wait to see you all Sunday for the morning slots, the morning games, as me and Big Show get you guys some Red Zone. So until next time, I'm Sharpie's Bets. Big Show, where can they find you?
You can follow me at Big Show Picks on Twitter, TikTok, and IG now. I got 1 picture on IG, I think. So I'm moving up.
I don't know if a lot of us YouTubers out here have TikTok, but it may be the way to go, guys. My kid comes over to me yesterday and goes, "Hey, Dad, I think you should go get a TikTok. They're getting thousands of views for these sports bets on there. Like, it's crazy." And I'm just like, ugh, fucking kids. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to grow and you want to get bigger, you need to be on all platforms. Me, I'm an old man, and I'm content pretty much for the most part. Jeff Slaughter's the fucking man. He allows me to do what I pretty much want to do. And shout out to the chat. Without you, there ain't us. Until next time, this is the good, the bad, and the money. And I'm Sharpie's Bets.
We be pubbing!